I had been away and I
Right.
moved down not only because of my pro playing,
Yes.
but because I was away and I was like literally off in like another field. And
Right.
and I
Right.
called you and I was near tears. I was like, oh my God. And you said, oh my God, Danielle, you're gonna get to meet all kinds of new people.
Yes, it's true.
And you were right. And I was like, okay, yes, I
Yeah.
am. Briar.
Okay, Danielle,
Honestly, look at us. Look at us
look at us.
tech demons. We are tech demons.
Tech demons. I feel like we've entered, like I'm watching all of this social media where there's podcasters, they're remote, they're just like talking into the camera with their guests,
I
and
know. I know. They've
this
got a
is the
real
future.
flow. And I think
They
this is the
do.
future. And what I love about this is that I'm feeling so empowered about our podcast because first of all, we have, I mean, like I think it's like 22
Hmm.
episodes
Hmm.
of podcasting, of actual podcasts, like serious
Yes.
content of
Serious
interest,
content.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Whenever I find a new podcast, I always like to see that there's a lot there. So
Yeah.
then if I like it, I can just like keep diving into it. When I have to
Absolutely.
wait,
Yeah.
mm,
And I've been spending a lot of time today doing some research on how to get our podcast kind of out there in the world. Because right now we don't have that many people that follow us except in our community. And
hmm.
so I want to do some really interesting things. And I think that's what's so exciting about us being um, on the guest, having on the Zoom situation, on
Yes,
doing it this way, is that it allows us to invite people into our podcast space,
it does. It
right?
does. Yes. And I'm just hoping that the technology will work. But, if the pandemic taught us anything,
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
pretty savvy when it comes to
I
technology
I
now.
think so. I am not because I was on the farm and I was not zooming with
Oh,
anybody.
right. Right.
I was in the kitchen and doing stuff. But I think that I'm going to get the hang of it. I'm
Yes,
determined. I'm determined. Yeah.
absolutely. And just the amount of time to get set up for tonight, um, it greatly reduced setup normally when we
It
were
did.
podcasting for all
It really
all
did.
previous seasons, right? All
Yes,
2 seasons.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So,
So one thing I was going to say, we haven't really had talked about this, but one thing I was going to say to people that are actually listening to us is
hmm.
that if we do ask for people to send in comments and questions, but I'd love to
Yes.
know what people really want to hear.
Okay.
But I
Yep.
assume, I assume that things that we're talking about, like, I mean, let's just think about what we've talked about in the past, the mental
Hmm.
game, drilling,
Yes.
um,
Choosing a
choo-
partner,
choosing a partner, tournaments, and
tournaments, tournament play, rec play,
rec play, where,
etiquette.
eh, yeah, the grumpy parts, the positive things, all of
Yes.
those things
Yes.
are what afflict people. And that's what
Yes.
I'm so excited about when we have our guests coming up that really asked you a question like, Briar, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah. What can I do to improve my game so I can win in this tournament? And you were
Right.
like, okay, do this, this, and this. And I thought, whoa, I want to know that. I want to hear
Okay.
that. Yeah, I want to hear that.
Right. Okay.
And so that's a great idea for a podcast. So I
It
I
it
I
is.
feel like if we're laying out the next season 3 of how you play
Hmm.
the game, I love being back here. I love being back with you. I love
Hmm.
our
Same.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's been so long. We've got so much to catch up on.
I know. We have so much to catch
Okay.
up on.
I know, and catch up all of our listeners on because it
Yeah.
has been a little while.
Yeah.
Like I
And
feel like we've had a whole pickleball season go by.
I feel well, that's partially true. Number 1, Briar has a
Yes,
new job. So
I
that
do.
took you out of the podcasting sphere
Yeah.
right away because even though you weren't traveling so much for your job, you were all of a sudden just immersed in new stuff that you
Y-
had to learn.
Yes, immersed, working a lot of extra time, just trying to get up to speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big change. And yeah, pivoting to a new job has been fantastic. Just like in terms of my mental health, my like sort of learning and growth, it's
Hmm.
been awesome. I really encourage anyone that's thinking about changing their careers or jobs, just do it.
Yeah,
Don't wait. Like
do
if
it.
you're already feeling any kind of sense of restlessness or unhappiness, why wait?
Well, what's interesting to me is that now I know the summer was filled with a lot of different things, but what's interesting to me is that you were playing a lot of pickleball when I first
Mm,
met you, like
yes.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you were playing a lot of pickleball, and you were so miserable in your job. And
Yes.
now, and now you are
Yeah.
loving your job,
Mm,
and you are not playing so much pickleball,
I am not.
which
I
is
am
not a
not.
bad
So,
thing.
not a bad thing. I mean, like there's going to be like ebbs and flows in your
There's going
life,
to
right?
be
You're
ebbs
going
and flows.
to come to different things at different times. You're right. And for pickleball, I only played two tournaments this season,
Yeah. Yeah. And you know
right?
what? What I think is really interesting is sometimes we think, okay, we've got to play 15 hours every single day
Right.
to improve
Because and we want to though.
because we want to improve. And we think that, by hour 14 on Monday, we're going to be, we're going to be, that's not the case. It's
That's
your
no.
body learns, you know what you need to do, and it's just
Hmm.
regular. So that's one thing. That's been a
Yeah.
big thing for you is
Big thing. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And then I've had some like partner changes. So, my
right.
partners just weren't available, right? So they're
Yeah.
traveling and then retirement and yeah, so that's hard. I mean, we'll probably dig into those types of things later on
Yeah.
during
I
this season, but
I think
mhm,
finding partners is going to be a big topic of conversation. I just
it's
noticed on
huge.
our local WhatsApp group that people were
Yes.
looking for partners. People were looking for, which is the first
Oh.
time I've actually noticed that. Because usually it's done like, you see someone on the court and you say, hey, want to play, whatever. Now it's like, hey,
Right.
to the wider community, want to play.
Okay, fantastic.
So,
That's interesting to
yeah,
navigate. I've also withdrawn from a lot of those WhatsApp groups
I
because
know.
it's just, it's hard to keep up with the chatter and dare I say drama.
Yeah. Well, I think that every community, everyone has drama. I think that's
Yeah,
actually fact.
that is fact.
Yeah, that is
And there's
fact.
nothing wrong with it. Like everyone likes a good cup of tea.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the summer, it's funny because when you're in the groove of playing a lot of pickleball and it's summer and it's beautiful and you're on holiday or you're not or whatever you're doing, it is a little bit harder to delve into just being together and chatting
Mhm.
because so much more is going on. And for me, it was the summer was so action
Yes.
packed with Olivia being in the Olympics in Paris and us going as a
Mhm.
family. And then, of
Wow.
course, her silver medal, which was just so overwhelming and probably will be for the rest of my entire life.
So exciting. Tell us more. Tell me
Yeah.
more.
Well, I was thinking that, what would be
Mhm.
kind of neat is before she gets away on her season, it would be lovely to have her. And she's been doing a
Okay.
number of podcasts about athleticism and about leadership.
Oh,
And she came
great.
and talked to us about the mental game because they have their own
Hmm.
conditioning coach. And she's very in tune to that.
Okay.
And just to a little tidbit is that they went into this season, into the Olympic season, um, was it ninth place,
No.
the underdogs.
Wow.
And she
Wow.
talk about like a mental repositioning. She had to
Hmm.
just as the captain,
Yes.
just refocus. And then they
Okay.
came in and they got a silver, and it was just
Wow.
so incredible. And I think
So incredible.
that kind of leadership and that kind of perseverance is something that we can take to all things pickleball.
Hmm.
Pickleball for
Hmm.
sure.
Okay. Let's get her on
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
People,
yeah.
I wasn't that our most listened to episode?
It might have been. It might have been
Yeah.
because now she's an silver medalist. She'll probably maybe will
Yeah.
just explode with
I think we will.
yeah. And I also want to say there's an interesting podcast that I haven't listened to, but I get advertisements for. It's called This
Oh,
Is Not a Beauty Podcast. It's with Isabella Rossellini, who's of course a rock star, and
yes.
she is doing a podcast about people's perception of beauty. So I was
Hmm.
thinking Liv's got to get on that podcast, having being having alopecia. But anyway, I'm
Right.
sidetracking because I think
Okay.
that a lot of people are interested in challenges,
Hmm.
challenges that it's life isn't just like a highway with like no stoplights. Like it's there's
Right.
lots of stuff going on and things that you've got to get over. New jobs, partner changes.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so I think we've got a lot of things that are going to be interesting to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, for
That's just
sure.
my that's just my thought. I think, one of the things that I've noticed is that I focused very much on nationals after the Olympics
Oh, why
and
don't you tell us a little bit
well,
about nationals?
well, it was awesome. It was fun, and it was fun to be with Peterborough was a big contingency of people, and my partner Joanne and I we medaled bronze, and it was quite a thrill. I'm not going to
Okay.
lie; it was just
Of
quite a thrill.
course. It is quite a thrill. It's a national event,
It was a
right?
thrill. Yeah, it
And
was
you're
a thrill.
pushing your physical limits, your mental limits. Like it's
Yeah.
just like to endure. So, and tell us a little bit about like your path.
Well,
Like, so what was
we
the event? How many teams? How
oh
did you
gosh, you can't
go
ask me
through?
those things. I can't.
Oh,
I don't even
okay.
remember. I don't even remember. There
Okay.
was a lot of people,
Okay.
millions.
Millions, billions of.
It was billions, but it was just, and what was interesting about it is that we did practice together quite a lot, but
Yes.
because also we're friends and we
Yeah.
play together in normal course of life anyway. So it was just fun. It was fun to play. And once we were out on the courts, I felt myself, and I think Joanne was the same. I just got into a zone, and I was like,
Okay.
like she wanted to talk, chat. What did we do? I'm like, let's just go. Let's just go. So
Okay.
I
Let's
I
just go.
learned
Let's just trust.
I learned that
Trust
about
all of our
myself.
drilling.
Yeah, I learned that
Okay.
about myself. So that was kind of fun.
Great.
But then we came home and there was a bit of a lag, and I thought, what am I really missing? Drilling.
Right.
Briar's drill group.
Okay. Really?
Really missing it. Really missing it.
Okay.
And even Sean, the absolute no drill guy,
Hmm.
right? No drill. Um, doesn't like them, was like, I might like to go. I think I might need some drills.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Because he went to nationals too. How did you do together? Or how did he do?
Well, I kind of thought we might need to have a little pickleball separation
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah,
we,
no
we
judgment.
we
It
literally played
happens.
horribly together.
Oh, oh.
So anyway,
Yeah,
these are things that one
live and learn.
learns and live and
Yes.
learn. And I think that I came home. I also felt that I wanted to embrace my local YMCA, which is where I
Okay.
learned how to play pickleball, do
Hmm.
more things there. Uh,
Yes, where we
I
met.
yes, where we met, where
Hmm.
I met, yeah, and where we played together, and I wanted to like work on some strength training and do some different things. I didn't feel like I needed to play pickleball 15 hours every single day.
Right,
So I
right.
thought,
Okay.
diversify.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then talk a little bit about why you thought doing this drill group that it was a little bit more unique, that you
Hmm.
started.
Hmm. Yeah, so this year, this sort of, I guess, summer season, when we finally went back outside for the courts, we had joined a ladder that was a huge ladder that was part of our local pickleball communities. They organized it, and it was a women's only ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And, those are always hard, right? Because the first night you do a huge round robin, so you see lots of different players, and that you get placed into like a ranking system. So you understand and you identify by court, and then you
Right.
move up and down courts according to different criteria, like wins and points of the scores. And, so there's always sort of questioning about how do people move up and down? Like it should be something that's very clear to
Mm-hmm.
members that play. However, people forget about some of the nuances of how people move up and down, right? So there's absences. So if someone is absent, how is that handled by the
Mm-hmm.
by the
Mm-hmm.
convener, right? So does that person lose their place? Do they go to the bottom of the ladder, or do they sort of stay where they are? And but is
Right.
that fair for the people that go all of the time and want to improve their game and see other people? So I think there was a little bit of maybe misunderstanding
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
about how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been part of ladders for so many years now. I just accept. I just give over to the world that it is what it is. I will often be on the bottom court,
Right.
and
But
I just have to go back to my mantra.
I'm just going to interrupt you because
Yeah.
you may often feel like you're on the bottom court, but I've
Hmm.
never known anyone that moves as fast up or down as you do.
Right.
Like
It's
you
true.
went, you may have been at the bottom, and the next thing you know, you're on court one.
Yes, it's true. I do
Yeah.
always move again, and
Yeah.
that's just that faith that the ladder system will work,
Yeah.
and eventually you will get there.
Right. And I do want to say that we talked about this 2 years ago,
Mm.
that I'm on the same ladder, and
Yes.
I move one direction only, and that's down.
So you have a good showing the first night on round
I
robin.
have a good showing on the first night, and then I just plummet. And I tell you, there is nothing worse for your confidence than
Right.
moving down. And I need to
Yes.
get over that, because that's life. That is life in pickleball. You are in round robins, you are playing with different
Hmm.
people. But for
Yes.
some reason, my confidence is poor. And so I can come and say, I'm pretty sure we talked about this not last summer, but the summer before. I had been away, and I
Right.
moved down not only because of my poor playing,
Yes.
but because I was away and I was like literally off in like another field. And
Right.
and I
Right.
called you, and I was near tears. I was like, oh my God. And you said, oh my God, Danielle, you're going to get to meet all kinds of new people.
Yes, it's true.
And you were right. And I was like, okay, yes, I am.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I guess you always
I
like I'm always trying to reframe things
I
into the
know.
positive light,
I
right?
know. I know. And it was a good thing. But yeah, so I'm well aware of
You,
uh, you know, things that
yes,
happen on ladders. And for some people it's awesome,
absolutely.
and some people it's just not fun. And I
It's
thought
not
I'm not
fun.
one of those people who like it.
Yeah, and I think that there was a lot of people that didn't like it. And
Hmm.
so, and my personality is that, I try to avoid conflict. I try to see the positive. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to do something different, like just to experiment, because I do like drills. And I think that drilling with our women's group, the Woman Up group, has been always very satisfying for me. So I
Hmm.
thought, why don't I try to sort of eliminate some of those factors that people were unhappy about, right? Like
Hmm.
playing with different partners, like playing with the unknown, not being able to develop their skills.
Hmm.
So how I changed it up was I got a group of friends together. I would say the people that I, play with, like to play with, hang out with. And so instead of joining the other group, we had our own session, our own
Hmm.
drill group. But that drill group it was half drills and half play, right? Competitive play to practice what we had been implementing. But we always had the same partner. So
Right.
partners could train together,
Yeah.
strategize together, and implement.
Which
So
was
I
so
think
helpful. because
Right.
my partner
Yes.
and I got to do that. And we went
Hmm.
then to nationals and we had that opportunity to have some coaching.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea.
Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And so I've continued that now in the fall for the drill group, but it's mixed. So it's sort of it's either like, but it's always your same partner. So partners that are going to be playing in tournaments together are matched up together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
so similarly, same thing. We drill and then we play. And then I
Right.
try to move the courts around. So in this one, there's a few, we have four courts rather than just two courts. And again, it's for friends. It kind of expanded a little bit this year because yeah, that's another another piece of drilling that's hard is, you always want the good game. You always want to drill with better people. You always want
Right.
to, and that's hard to coordinate.
Yeah.
For anyone that's ever coordinated or organized these things, again, like my applause and thanks go out to anyone that organizes these things, like our local group for organizing ladders, our
Mm-hmm.
our like the drill groups, our friends
Mm-hmm.
that get games together, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
easy.
It's
People
not,
are away. people
trust me.
people have different experiences with different
Yeah.
players. There's different like hurt feelings or histories that you
Yeah.
always have to like try to remember. You can't remember it all. I'm horrible that way.
Yeah.
Am I? Do I
Yeah.
forget? Am I forgetful? Mm,
Not so
maybe.
much. You're
Not
very
so much.
organized.
So yeah, it's so that's what we've been doing, and again, trying to encourage the positivity, encourage people to help people that are new
Hmm.
and just getting
Hmm.
started, because
Hmm.
again, we were all there, right?
Yeah,
I've
and it is a very much a I mean, just in our community, number of people that I don't know that I not that I know people, but I do see names.
Mhm.
And it's just a very expanding community and
Yes,
wonderful. And I think
yes.
that that is great. And I think getting out of touch when you play in certain when the large ladder, like the one in the summer, what's really awesome about that is that you do get to meet lots of people because it was, I think there was like
Hmm.
73 people in that ladder,
Yes.
which was
Yes.
great. And a lot of
Excellent.
socialization and just
Mhm.
wonderful things. And I think that it is, those are great things, but it
Oh,
also
it's
is nice for
great
people
things.
to play with their friends and people that they know, and that's just a classic
Hmm.
thing that happens,
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
welcoming for others to join in
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
they want, and
Yeah.
drawing balance. It's hard to find a balance
It's
sometimes.
hard to find a balance, and everyone has they have different motivations, right?
Yes.
So if people have different motivations, they have to try to find their niche, and then, let go of different expectations if it's not exactly meeting what you want, but then you can find other things like
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
socializing, like
Mm-hmm.
meeting other people. Like again, when if I go back to thinking of just every ball is a good ball,
Yeah.
then, just seeing it, just playing the ball. Don't play
Right.
your partner, don't play your opponents, just play the ball.
Yes.
And,
Sometimes
that's
it's
satisfying
hard.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that Sean said to me was when we were at nationals actually playing.
Mm, yes. Okay.
He
So
says,
in the
"Okay,
game.
we'll each play our side of the court." And I said,
Oh.
"Okay, you know." And I don't, he didn't mean that in a negative way, but of course I interpreted that quite negatively. I'm like,
Right.
actually, this is a team. We're a team. We're
Yes.
partners. We need to talk to each
Absolutely.
other. So,
Yes.
but I think what he was really saying was it's the ball, playing that ball versus, but he was looking at it as like the
Right.
physical court. Okay, I'm going to stay on
Yes.
this side and you stay on that side. And there's a line down the middle.
Don't get in my way because this is
Don't
my
get in my
side.
way. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, it's just one of those things. But I
Mhm.
think, finding that balance of people do want to improve so badly. There's some people that
Mhm.
just want to kind of hang out, but there's people
Yeah.
that do want to improve. And
Yeah.
it's not so easy all the time. You can, and drilling really, really helps. There's just no question in my mind.
No question.
No question in Sean,
Yeah.
the anti-driller, the
Right. That
anti-driller either.
absolutely. And I think, yeah, Robbie too. And yeah, has kind of come over to the dark side, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because he's always drilling with other people as well and helping them
Well,
sort of just
he's
develop their
helping.
skills.
He's
He's
the
helping,
ultimate helper of people
right?
that want to get
Yeah.
to, like, even when we were playing the other night, what
Hmm.
I noticed was there's people there that I didn't know. And
Right.
he just went over and said, okay, let's play some games and do this and do that. And it's
Hmm.
lovely.
It is
So,
lovely.
yeah, I mean, I think it really, when it comes down to it, it all comes back to drilling, right? That's really
It
the end of the
does.
day.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
drilling,
Yeah.
for sure. For
So, do
sure.
we want to talk a little bit about what's coming up for this season? Like, what are we going to
Hmm.
do? Are we going to just hang out and talk about pickleball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that
I like that.
one thing. And one thing about doing it after your work is I could pour a glass of wine if I wanted to next time.
I know. You know what? I made tea tonight,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
do, yeah, I was debating.
yeah. And cheers, I have water. Um,
Okay.
but I think there are so many cool topics. So I wanted to share with you a few of the ideas that I had, and we haven't really nailed this down fully because it's
Hmm.
very flexy flex.
Yeah.
But I thought one of the things that would be fun to do is have a partnership from pickleball, an on court partnership, two women who are, better than I do,
Hmm.
who want
Hmm.
to come out and who want to learn and who want to
Yes.
be on our show. And we can
Yes.
talk to them about different issues that they have in their partnership and going to
Hmm.
tournaments and succeeding.
Yeah.
They're doing so well.
Absolutely. They are doing so well. They're
Yeah.
great competitors. I think I can share their names because they did say that they
Yeah.
would come on.
Yeah.
So Sherry and Kathy will be coming on. They just moved from 3.0 to 3.5. And so we'll kind of capture their thoughts about making that
Transition
transition.
and whether they
Hmm.
even felt it. Like, was it like did they just feel it all of a sudden? They're like, yeah, I got it.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And it's
Yeah.
like one of them's they're a lefty righty pair, so just understanding maybe some of the skills and strategies that they use, and
Yeah.
they're really really fun. So that makes it a nice competition as well.
Yeah, I think
Right?
it is. I think
Yeah.
that is great. And I was thinking about looking at intergenerational pickleball families, where people
Hmm.
play with their grandmother, their mom, and
Yes.
they're a rising pickleball star. Like, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we can have some of those conversations,
Yeah.
potentially some conflict resolution with an expert in conflict
Would love
resolution.
the conflict resolution. I think that would
Yeah,
be great.
I
Just some tips to use or
Yeah. Yeah. So
right?
I'm hoping that that will pan out. Love on the court could be possible. We could have a whole bunch of little vignettes like
Oh, love on the
newcomers,
course.
who
Right.
knows? Yes or no? Is that a yes or no?
Yeah, yes or no? I think so. Do we
uh,
have examples in our community? Yes, I think we do.
well, we have
We
Aubrey and
do.
Tanner, brand new
Right? Oh, that's right.
pickleballers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
they're
was thinking about people that have met on the court.
Oh, that's also interesting.
Might be interesting to
Yeah,
explore
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, things like from a pro, like tips on improving your game. I think people want to hear that. People love to
Hmm.
hear about how aging pickleballers. I'm
Yes.
in awe of aging pickleballers.
So am
People
I.
that, I really am. We've talked about this
Oh,
before,
we've
but
talked about this before.
maybe we
Yeah.
could actually have some of our,
Y- Yeah.
companions come on to the show and talk about what that really means.
Okay.
You
I
know,
would love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
running
Yeah,
a
because they
court,
are
running a
so
tournament.
inspiring.
Yeah, courts and
Yeah.
tournaments. We have new
Courts,
courts in our
tournaments.
community.
Yeah. What has changed in the sport? Because they've been playing it for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of changes. And that whole, I'd
Hmm.
love to get into a deep dive on that whole EULA court paddle situation, or different
Mm.
paddles that were all of a sudden not
not allowed in
Not allowed.
tournaments.
Yeah, not allowed.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
possible we could get one of our referee friends to come and talk about some of those things too.
Oh,
You know
referee
how
would be good.
yeah, when
Hmm.
you're in the on the court and you've got to have your paddle touched and they've got to check whether it's in the
Yes.
right, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That there's no stickers or no extra grid or
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes.
So I feel like we could have a really interesting lineup this year for
Hmm.
our podcast.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to share something with you too. Okay.
Yes.
So I was reading today
Okay.
that in 2021, 18% of people got their podcast information from YouTube, listened on YouTube. And you know, I was
Oh,
talking to you about that. Should we go on YouTube or not?
right.
Well,
Right.
it's a done deal. We're going to go on
Oh,
because
okay.
today it's 34% of people surpassing Spotify and Apple are getting podcasting through YouTube. If we're
Really?
going to wear these earphones or whatever you call
Mm-hmm.
these things,
Mm-hmm.
earmuffs, if we're
Mm-hmm.
going to do this,
Headphones, maybe.
headphones, thank you. If we're going to wear these things, we're
Yes.
going to go on YouTube. You know, people need to
Okay.
see us and see that we are embracing technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have to have like fancy fonts and everything or like a little,
Fonts.
well, I don't know, like I feel like they have like things that like
Oh,
come up on their
right. Oh
screen and
gosh, let's just
words
get
and
ourselves up there, but maybe you won't figure. Let's just figure
Okay.
the other stuff out
Okay, we'll
as
figure
we
that out.
go
We'll
along.
fig
As we go
Okay.
along.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Yes.
so we're. I think. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or?
Oh, no, I don't think so. No, I mean, this was
Yeah,
a pretty good catch up,
I think it's a pretty good catch
right?
up. You know, we've got new
Yeah.
jobs, we've got drill groups,
Yeah. Drill
got
groups. We've got a lineup coming.
yeah, silver
Yeah.
medalists.
You're a silver medalist. Come on.
And yeah, I think we're good. So I'm really excited about
Mm,
this upcoming season. I truly am
yes.
excited also because I get regular chats with you.
Oh, same. I have missed those.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
just our
Me
like
too.
quick updates of what's going on and
Yeah.
and even what's going on in the world, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
because I just talk, work at work. I don't really talk world
Right.
things
Right.
or
Right.
female health things
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah,
Sports injuries, all sorts of stuff.
all sorts of things
Yeah.
that yeah, over a glass of wine and good
I
conversation.
love it. I love it. And I think Aubrey's going to design a background for us so that we can have like look professional.
Okay, so like YouTube fonts.
That's right. Yeah, I mean
Great.
it's just it's liftoff. Well, listen, Briar, I hope you have a
Danielle.
lovely night. People can follow us on Instagram and
Hmm.
soon, I was thinking we should maybe get a Facebook page too, because there's lots of people
Oh,
who are on Facebook. So I'm going to explore that possibility. And then, of course,
okay.
YouTube, right?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
The world is our
P-
pickleball oyster.
yes. And maybe an email newsletter,
I'm thinking about it.
right? Maybe
Yeah.
that's something to
So that we'll have
explore.
to capture people's email address so that we can
Hmm.
tell them about things that are coming up. They could maybe even talk to us like back and
Yeah. Ask
forth,
us
like
questions. What do
ask
they
us
want to hear more
questions.
about?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Review our show, leave us a review. That's
Yeah.
apparently an important thing to get other people to, to like us. We need to have, when you listen to the podcast, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review. Yeah.
Yes.
Only leave a nice review though, because we're just two pickleball ladies. We don't want to read anything nasty
We don't. I think
unless it's constructive.
it's
Constructive criticism is always,
constructive. Yes. I typically have to then reframe that as well because it's hard to
yeah,
listen to constructive feedback.
it is.
Um,
But I'm
but
game. I guess I'm game.
you know what? So many people do it, right?
So many people do.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's something to explore.
Yeah. All right, Briar. Well,
All right. Great.
so
Thanks, Danielle.
have a lovely evening and a lovely, rest of your week. And I'm going to be, we'll be catching up with our next podcast.
Yes.